Hello children, I'm Krishna. I'm back again today. Today I have come up with a very lovely poem from your book Hornbill, and this is the second poem of the chapter name. The poem is The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. Now what is the meaning of Laburnum? Laburnum is beautiful local tree. It's very beautiful big tree which we know in Hindi as Amaltas. I'm not sure how many of you have heard this name, but I'm very sure most of you have seen this tree. This is a big tree which is full of yellow flowers, and the flowers are almost dropping down. It drops down like a chain of yellow color, golden chain. So some people they call it golden chain flowers also, but actually the name is laburnum. So in the poem here, actually the poem is about the mutual relationship between the laburnum tree and a small bird, that is a goldfinch bird. This bird is also yellow in color. Now this is a very simple poem, but the poem is lovely, and this poem has been divided in three parts. The first part deals with only the laburnum tree, and the scene is before the bird arrives there. Now let's come to the second part. The second part tells about, now this is the total switch of the scene. In this one, in the second part of the poem, the bird arrives. The bird arrives and things change. There are a lot of changes in the tree, in the environment there. Now the third stanza is it again tells what happens when the bird flies away. When she flies away from there, what happens to the tree? So this is a simple three stanzas over here. So let's come to the poem. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. See children, in the first three lines, the poet has very beautifully explained about the silence, the solitude of the tree. The tree was silent, the tree was still, and the tree was solitude. And it was a month of September. And in September, obviously it was autumn. It was autumn afternoon, and just see how he has implies yellow color over here. The tree itself, the tree is not yellow, but since this is an afternoon of an autumn, so because of the afternoon, it was an yellow, the sunlight was also yellow, and it was an autumn season. All the leaves were becoming yellow, so even that was yellow. Now it was full of yellow flowers towering down, that was also yellow, and the seeds of that tree, that laburnum tree, has fallen down. Now what does all these things symbolize here? What does he want to tell in these three lines? Children, the yellow color dominates in this poem. Now yellow color is a symbolic of beauty. It symbolizes beauty. But now when the seeds has fallen down, the tree is of no use, because the seeds give birth to another tree. So seeds has fallen down over here, and the leaves also are yellowing. Yellowing of the leaves means it is nearing death. It is nearing death. Very soon it will fall down. And it was an afternoon also. Usually in the afternoon, the atmosphere is silent, it is still, and there is not much voice and noise there. So all these things, it indicates somewhat melancholy mood. Okay, the mood is very sad, the mood is very quiet and not very happy. It was somewhat sad. Okay, it hints to a sad mood here. Now let's come to the second stanza. There's a switch over the scene here, and how till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at the branch, and then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness, and a machine starts up, of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It's the engine of her family. She strokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showering her barred face identity mask. This stanza is a bit lengthy than other two stanzas, than the beginning and then the end, because the whole story, the cream of the chapter is here. That is when the bird arrives till the goldfinch comes. Now goldfinch is small yellow birds. Okay, so it resembles a small bird. When a very local bird, we have this bulbul. Okay, it is not really bulbul, but it belongs to the same family, and it's a bit beautiful than that. It's yellow in color. So just see in this whole paragraph, the poet, he has explained, he has used all the words of movements, all the words of action, and the different kind of sounds. So what does it show? All the different kind of sounds, the different kind of movements. It shows life which has come to the tree after the arrival of the goldfinch bird. Now when she comes, how did she come? She came with a twitching chirrup. Twitching chirrup. Chirrup is the sound of the bird, and twitching with a sudden movement she came, and a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. She came and sat on the top of the branch. So why did she first sat on the branch? Because she wants to make sure that the predators are not there. Nobody is watching her. She wants to make sure first. She was careful. So everything was sudden, startlement at branch end. So it shows a movement, a fast movement of the bird, that she came in a sudden movement, then sleek as a lizard. Children, this particular line is very important, because usually the question comes from here. Either it's a question or extract based question. So just make mark of this line. Then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt. Now the poet has compared the bird to the lizard. Now why to the lizard? Lizard is an insect. So why to the lizard? Because lizard is very careful in a movement. All of you must have watched lizard in your house also. Just see the way she moves. She is very cautious. She is very cautious and she is very alert. So the goldfinch bird, she uses the same alertness and abruptness. And sleek means sudden. In a sudden movement, she just slips into there. Okay, she slips into where? To the thickness. Now, what is the thickness? She enters the thickness. Thickness means she enters inside the branch of the tree. Now, why did she enter there? Because her family was there. She had her baby birds inside there. The nest was there and her babies were there. So she enters. So that's why she was cautious. That's why she sat on the top first, and she became sure that nobody is watching. So children, because of the high security, this yellow bird has used the yellow tree, and everything is being shown in yellow color here to show the cautiousness and to show the alertness and the security she is applying with her family. Now when she enters, the scene changes totally. Now what happened then? She enters the thickness and a machine starts up. Now what's that machine? The machine here is said to be their family, the family of the goldfinch bird. So how did it start up? So when a machine starts up, what happens? Whatever machine starts, a noise is there, a tremble is there. So in the same way, the machine of her children started. So when it started, what happened? Of chittering and tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. So in a very, very lovely verse, he has used the sound and the movement made by the bird and her family. So when all the small birds chirp together, it was full of noise. All of you must have heard when many birds sing together, they chirp together, what kind of sound they make. So it was all noisy and they fluttered their wings, and when they were happy to see their mother, when the children, they were happy to see their mother, in joy, they fluttered their wings because she knew that Mummy has brought food for us. So in the happiness, they were fluttering their wings, and all sound of the chirrup, sound of the movement of wings, and sound of the tremble of the trees. And when the tree trembles, there was a flutter of the leaves. So all that sound together, he has compared it to a machine, sound like a machine. So there's one more important line here. It is the engine of her family. Now, what is the engine of her family? She herself is the engine. She herself is the engine because she runs the family. Because of her arrival, there was life in that tree, there was movement in the children, and the children, they became brave. Before she came, everything was silent. The children were still there in the nest, inside the tree, deep inside the tree, but they were quiet and they were silent because even they were afraid. But when Mother came, they all became brave and they all became happy. So that was a sound of joy. So she strokes it full, then flirts out to branch in. She strokes it full. Now what is stroke? Stroke is putting fuel in the engine or something. So now what kind of fuel she is putting? She is feeding the children. So feeding the children means putting fuel in the engine. That is filling their stomach. So once the children are fed already, once they are full, she flirts out to a branch. And now what is the word flirt? Flirt out. Flirts out means, flirting out means the movement of wings of a bird. So she flapped her wing and out of the branch she came. And when she came, showing a barred face identity mask. Now what is barred face? Children, I told you in the beginning of the poem that this Laburnum tree, the flower of this tree, it has the flowers falling down like this. So falling down in golden chains. So while the flower was hanging in chains, she was sitting on the branch, in one of the branch, and her face was covered. In front of the face were the chains of the flower. So the shadow of those flowers, those chains, it was falling on her and it covered her. Her face was covered like a mask of bars. And that bar was the shadow of flowers. So that's why it's a comparison. So it is a transfer epithet. The poet has used transfer epithet here, means the adjective barred, like a bar like this, has been used for the Laburnum flower, that it is falling like a bar. But indirectly here it has used as a mask for the bird. So this is transfer epithet. So now let's come to the last change of the poem. This is very short lines, only 3 lines again. Then with eerie, delicate whistle, chirrup whispering, she launches away towards the infinite, and the Lebanon subsides to empty. Okay, children, now the bird is ready to fly. Then with eerie, delicate whistle, chirrup whispering, she launches away towards the infinite. Now this is again, the poet is using different kind of sounds. She comes on the treetop again. And why she comes on the treetop? Because before flying out, she looks again cautiously. She watches for the predator. She watches for any danger. So no danger was there. Her children were safe. Now she was ready to move out into infinite, means into the vast sky. And why she goes there? Of course, she is going there. She has to go there to look food for her children for the next meal. So again, she has flown into the infinite. Now, after she has flown away, what happened? Lebanon subsides to empty. The Lebanon was empty before, and after she has left, it is empty again. The same stillness, the same silence, the same solitude was there on the Lebanon top. And that's why the name of the poem is Lebanon Top. Lebanon Top was silent before, and it is silent again. So now what do we understand? Do you realize something from this poem, children? We can say that we depend on each other. The nature of the tree is so silent. The tree was standing alone, and the tree was withering. And in that miserable condition, when the leaves were withering, the seeds has fallen down already. It was an autumn afternoon. Usually afternoons, it does not indicate happiness. It is the extreme heat. So that time when it was in a very miserable condition, the arrival of a small bird fill up life in the tree. In the tree for some moment there was life. So even a small bird could give life to a tree. So here we can see that we all depend upon each other. We have to depend upon each other. She needed shelter, and the tree gave shelter to the bird, and the bird gave momentum, happiness to the tree. Now, let's come to the poetic devices used here. It is very easy to locate the poetic devices, but I'll just point it out for you. While I'm sure you can find it out. First of all, you can see a lot of alliteration over here. So now what is alliteration? The first letter is repeated. That is September sunlight. In the very first stanza, September sunlight. Now come to the second stanza. Tree trembles. Okay. Where's that? Tree trembles and thrills. Okay. Now let's come to the third stanza. Whistle, chirrup, and whispering. W and W. Suddenness, startlement. So all these are cases of examples of alliteration. Now there is a simile also. Where's that? In the second stanza. Then sleek as a lizard. The poet has used the word as, means direct comparison, so that is a simile, similar to a lizard. Now metaphor. Metaphor is not direct comparison, but indirectly we take it as something else. Now a machine starts off chittering. The baby birds, they were not machine, but it has been named as machine. The chirping, the movement, the sound has been named as machine. The engine of her family. Here the bird has been labeled as the engine. Now there's personification also. The whole tree trembles and thrills. The tree cannot tremble on its own, but poet has used the word trembles. Why does it tremble? Because of the movement of the bird and its family. And I have told you about this transferred epithet already, that is in the poem, the bard face identity mask. Now the word bard, like a bard, that is an adjective given to the Laburnum flower. So now children, this is the poem. This is the poem for today. And this is a very simple and very lovely poem. And I'm very sure once you just go through the poem, it will be very easy for you to understand. So I'll give you a break. Good day.